I was talking to you guys about the storm drain near McFadden, right? And the same thing happened to sixth period. I'm like, oh, let me talk to them about the storm drain near McFadden. And then I don't know what happened. And I'm like, oh, let me look it up on map, Google Map. And so I showed him this, and I want to show it to you guys. So basically, let's see, there's McFadden right there. There's the parking lot, right? And I was referring to, there's a storm drain on this side of the street. And then I'm like, I wonder if there's a storm drain on the cul-de-sac. So this is the cul-de-sac. That's that little street. This is rate. And some of the parents like park along this street to like pick you guys up. And then there's like a paletero right there. Cool. But what I noticed, see, there's McFadden. What I noticed is, oh my goodness, there is literally a storm drain right there in a private street that not a lot of cars go through because it's a cul-de-sac. So I'm like, wow, if you guys are still looking for a storm drain and you live in walking distance to McFadden, there's your storm drain right there. Now, if you don't live near McFadden, this is not the storm drain for you. You know, you should look for one like this around your house. But if you do live near McFadden, like, hello, right there, and look how many pollutants are there. So here's a perfect example of a storm drain right across the street from McFadden. So if you live in that neighborhood or you live in this neighborhood, I strongly believe that this storm drain is in walking distance. It's pretty close to your house. It's in a cul-de-sac, which means there's not traffic going through it. There's one on the other side, but that's on a pretty busy street. But look at that. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the perfect storm drain if you're still looking for one. So again, this is right across the street from McFadden. So if you're still looking for a storm drain, there you go. Merry Christmas. Adopt that one. You can do all your experiments there. I mean, it's a perfectly good looking storm drain, if I do say so myself. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I, Miss O'Malley, would be super excited about a storm drain. But when I discovered this one, look at that trash. Someone left that trash right there. Terrible. That's just going to go straight into the ocean. Terrible. So there you go. If you're still looking for one, nothing better than that one right there. That one's a perfect storm drain. I see trash. It's on a closed street and it's near the school. But I know some of you don't live anywhere near the school. You guys travel a very long distance. But so try to find one that looks like that around your house. Done. I emailed some of you this morning about it, but the SunPower Solar Academy, they changed the hours. They are now having it in the afternoon from 12:30 to 4:30 so that students can take summer school in the morning. So that's an update. It's a huge update. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, so beautiful storm drain. Gosh, it's a beautiful storm drain. All right, so let me go into the modules. Some of you turned in some work yesterday and today. I have not graded it. I'll probably grade it either tonight or tomorrow. Okay, for Wednesday, I'm gonna train you on this on how to take a sample. Yeah. Okay, so here's the online version. You have it active for you. Learn the proper procedures for collecting a stormwater sample, including appropriate use of personal protective equipment, how to collect a sheet flow sample, how to store the sample, and how to complete a chain of custody form. So I'm going to teach you how to collect a sample, and you're going to practice collecting a sample, okay, for when it's the real deal collecting the samples and then using our chemicals to test it. You know how to do it. You already had a practice run. So you don't mess up this because this only works once, right? Once you use this, if you mess up somewhere, it's like, oh no, there's no way to undo it. Okay. So let me start reading. Scientific protocol for sampling collection. Lab results are used as a basis to justify the need for BMPs. or solutions, and therefore it is recommended that proper protocol is followed when collecting a sample. Most importantly, the sample should be collected from flowing runoff. Samples collected from puddles may contain elevated levels of pollutants and will not give an accurate result. When collecting a sample, allow the runoff to flow into the collection bagging, as opposed to dragging or scooping the water, which may skew the results. Then you pour the water from the baggie into the sample bottles. Sample bottles should be filled to the shoulder of the bottle. The shoulder is located at the point where the bottle is the widest part of the bottle begins to narrow towards the neck. Imagine the body of a person at the shoulders narrowing to the neck. So if I have a water bottle, this would be the shoulder. So this is like, it's pretty even here. And then it starts going up into the neck and then into the cap. So if I were to fill my water bottle with my sample, I would fill it all the way up to this point right here, because this would be the neck of the bottle. So you're going to be collecting this much of sample up to here. Finally, make every effort possible to avoid contamination of the sample. You should always wear PPE when collecting samples. Only collect in sterile baggies. Never reuse baggies when collecting a sample. Avoid contact. Avoid contact with the sample water and avoid touching the inside of both the collection bottle and the bottle cap. So if you touch any, like the water, if you touch the inside of the bottle or the inside of the cap, you're putting whatever is on your glove or your hands into that sample, which might skew the results. So you got to make sure that when you're pouring, you know, just the water inside the bottle. Lab samples. For a sample that will be tested at the laboratory, place the sample in a small cooler and add ice packs to the cooler to chill the sample until it arrives to the lab. Once lab samples have been collected, the next step is documentation. The most important step in sampling is documenting the collection on the chain of custody form. This document serves as a record of each sample that was collected and who had possession of the samples. The chain of custody form is unique to each lab. An example of an intern completed chain of custody form is provided here for reference. So this would be the sample chain of custody. So it would show like who took the sample, who put the water in the bottle. Then if you handed it off to someone else, they would sign like, okay, I got it. And then I gave it to someone else. And then that person gave it to the teacher. Chain of custody. So if something happens to it, we know where it's been. If we were at school, we would actually be sending our samples to a laboratory and then they would be testing it. For us, we will be testing, limited testing with this kit that we're going to be picking up maybe next week. And we're going to be testing. Does it test everything the lab test is? No, this is more, you know, this is a good test, but it's not going to give us all of the results that we would get from a professional laboratory. But this is pretty cool to do at home, which we will in a couple of weeks. Okay. Why is it important to receive training on how to do a job so we can do our job effectively and efficiently? Our job training today is about how to take a stormwater sample. What could be a consequence if the job is not done correctly? We would get inaccurate results. If we have the wrong information, it's harder to find the right solutions to reduce the pollution. What is the purpose of taking stormwater samples? To see if there are any pollutants in the water and what kinds. Why would we send the samples to a lab? To measure the exact level of pollutants that are present in the stormwater runoff at the time of the sampling. How does it help us to know exactly what pollutants and how much are in a stormwater sample? As water quality professionals, we use the information to understand what the problems are and how serious they are. Why do we want to know more? No, sorry. Why do we want to know which pollutants are present in the stormwater runoff? If we know which are present, then we can track down the source or sources and find ways to reduce them from flowing into the storm drain. Let me double check one thing. Okay, so what I just read to you, you are now able to fill out the quiz. Okay, so it's found in your modules. It is called Lesson 7 Stormwater Sampling Training Quiz. Okay, yep. So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you 15 minutes to complete the Lesson 7 Stormwater Sampling Quiz. Okay, you have access to literally what I just read to you. Okay, you don't even have to, we're not even on the video yet. We don't need the video. All you need to do is review the vocabulary if you need to, read the paragraphs I just read out loud to you again, and the discussion questions and answers, okay? And then go into the quiz. You have 15 minutes to complete the quiz for accuracy. So make sure you go back, read this if you need to. I just read it out loud to you, but if I read it too fast, or if you're not 100% sure of the answer, all the answers are literally in these paragraphs. All the answers are in those paragraphs, so you can reread them if you need to. But literally, if you just listen to me, most of the answers can be answered right now. Again, so if you go into your modules, you have access to this document. And then you're going to be taking the stormwater sampling quiz right now for 15 minutes. I'm going to start my timer. Not my calculator, my timer for 15 minutes. Class, let's see, 12. Okay, that's perfect. So 15 minutes have begun. Your assignment right now is Lesson 7 Stormwater Sampling Training Quiz. You're taking that quiz right now. The answers are found in this document, and I see that some of you have logged on to see that document. Perfect, good job. Where do I find this document? Oh, that's a great question. Glad you asked. No one asked. Go to your modules. And right here. So let's clear. So you're going to read this and then take that. So read and then take the quiz, and the timer will go off at 12:02. So you have until 12:02 to read. That spells read. Read this document and then take the quiz. So even if you haven't done anything else in this class, you can literally read that right now, So you're reading this and then you take this quiz. You don't need any other information. You don't need any other prior knowledge. So all of you in this class can literally click this, read it, and then take the quiz. You don't need any other information. You don't need to know what we did yesterday. You don't need to know what we did 2 weeks ago. Zero. You literally read this today and you can do that quiz, because all you have to do is read all you have to do is read this. If you read that, you can take the quiz and you can go back and forth on your tabs, right? So if you just logged on, read that, take the quiz. I'll see you guys at 12:02. There's no excuses. Miss Mel, you got here late. Cool. Read that, take the quiz. Like I said, today's assignment, like yesterday, are very independent assignments. The quizzes are just very like straightforward. If you listen to me teaching, or if you read it on your own, you're able to answer these questions. Like if I were to tell you, the Three Little Pigs story, and you're like, I've never heard of the Three Little Pigs. Okay, and I talk to you about the Three Little Pigs and the brick house and the one with straws, and then the other pig that I can't remember what he built his house on. And then I had to take a quiz on it. It was like that, like independent. It was a brand new topic. No matter what you've learned or not learned in the last 3 weeks, you could have done it. Like it was easy. All right. The next thing I got to teach you how to do is the sampling. So with 10 minutes left in class, what you're going to do is, after I train you, tonight, tomorrow, it's going to be due Friday, you're going to be taking a gallon of water, you're going to be pouring it, and you're going to be collecting that water. So you're going to need someone to help you. Might need 3 people here. The video shows you how to do it. You're going to pour water, you're going to collect the sample, and then you're going to practice pouring it into the bottle. And then literally, then you throw away the water and you recycle the water bottle. You're just doing a test run of, let's pour some water, let's collect it in a bag. Can I do that? Then in about 2 weeks, you're going to be doing the exact same thing, but this one really counts. And you're going to be then testing it with the chemicals. Today, tomorrow, tonight, whatever, when you have a chance to go out there, since you just cleaned your drain, hopefully there's no trash, you pour the water, you collect your sample, you put it in the water bottle, and you're like, yay, I did it. Okay, let me pour the water into the grass, because then it'll get filtered. Recycle the water bottle. Don't use it because it has very dirty water now. Please, please, please do not reuse the water bottle. Put it in the recycling bin for it to be recycled. Okay, so let me show you the video. If there's any questions, we'll go over them. You can try to do it without the bags of sand. You just have to make sure you collect the water. The bags of sand are just there to create like a funnel situation where so all the water kind of flows into your bag. I'm going to grab some bags and fill them with dirt. You can try to do it without the sandbags. It might still work. Maybe. Let's continue watching. Notice it's not a lot of sand. So we're trying to collect that water in there. He's putting the plastic bag near the storm drain. And then your mom, dad, brother, sister makes it rain by pouring the water slowly. And then the water is being collected in the bag along with all the pollutants. Okay. And then you're filling up your water bottle to the neck. Team effort here. Wear gloves. You're not going to put it on you're not going to do that part. Okay? So that's what you have to do. So we're testing it. We're just trying to make sure that you can do it. And in about 2 weeks, you're going to do it again, but this time we're testing the water. So this one time, you're going out there and you're practicing with your parent. It's gonna you're gonna have at least 2 people out there, maybe 3. Invite your little brother or sister to come along. They can help as well. Um, Feel free to show this video to your whoever's coming with you. Be like, okay, I need you to help me do this. Look, this is what we have to do. If you don't have the sandbags, that's fine. I think you can still probably collect the water without having to worry, oh, I don't have the sandbags. So you're gonna take it, you're gonna fill your bag with water, then you're gonna transfer it over to your water bottle. You need enough water here to make it rain, to get a good amount of water in your bag. And then literally you throw away the water in the grass so it's filtered. You do not need to put it in an ice bucket. That's only if you were going to send it to a real lab. You're not. So again, you're just testing it, right? Because again, we're going to be doing the real one in a couple of weeks. So this is just a test run. This is why I want you on a closed street, a safe street, because you're literally on the street. These people are on the street, right? So you want to make sure that someone is looking out for traffic. Mom or dad are pouring the water. You're wearing gloves. I don't want you touching this water. It's going to be very, very polluted. Hasn't rained in a long time. And then you just practice pouring it into the water bottle. So if you make a mistake, this would be the perfect time to make a mistake because it's just a test run, right? If you make a mistake on the real one in a couple of weeks, it's going to impact your results. So this is where we just test it out, get comfortable with everything, all the materials, we're okay. On the real one, you're going to have a clean water bottle and a clean bag. Right now, we can just do everything that's kind of recycled. But yeah, that's what I want you to practice either tonight, tomorrow, whatnot. So you have a good understanding of how to do the make it rain. You know, if in the forecast it's going to rain the next 2 weeks, then we would actually take a test of real runoff, right? Like I would be like, okay, go outside, it's raining, collect your storm water. You would actually be collecting it the same way. You wouldn't be holding the bag to the sky. No. You would be doing it the same way, except it would be real runoff. Right now, we're pretending we're making it rain. You're still going to get pollutants. Like there's still pollutants, even though we're pouring the water, you're still picking up all the pollutants that are in that area. So practice, it's good to practice. It's good for your parents or your brother, sister who's going to pour the water, whoever's going to pour the water for you. It's also good practice for them as well. Because again, this one doesn't count, but we're practicing. Does that make sense? It's kind of like for those of you who play sports, you practice, right? It's like you go to practice Thursday night. It's not a game. You're practicing. Why? So when there is a game and it counts, you know what to do. Same thing here. It's just like you're playing sports. This is a practice run. So when we really do it in 2 weeks, you understand what to do. You're not making mistakes. Today would be a day to like, oh, I made a mistake, or we didn't bring enough water. The bag is too small. Oops, I did it. This is where we learn. Okay. So you can try it out. And then for the real one, okay, it might be like, why, Miss Amelie, why? Just like playing sports, we practice, and then so when it comes to the game, you guys are pros. I'm gonna make an assignment. I thought I made it, but I did not, so I'm gonna add it right now. Assignment, new assignment, lesson 7, picture of your water bottle. So I want a picture of your water bottle with the dirty water inside. And then that dirty water, make sure you just recycle it, pour it over grass so that it gets filtered through, because you're going to pick up a lot of pollutants. Please make sure you wear your PPE, your gloves are super, super important. Be very careful if you're on a busy street. Make sure you take at least 3 people, you, and then the person pouring the water, and then the lookout. Like that person's not looking at what you're doing. They're just looking for cars. Okay. They're just looking for cars. Upload a picture of your water bottle filled up to the neck with the storm water runoff. And when we do the real one, I think I'm going to offer some extra credit. I think the extra credit will come with if someone videotapes you, I'll give you extra credit. Like of you doing the collection, of you doing this, the testing, and someone's taking additional video or photos of you actually doing the work. I'm probably gonna give you extra credit for that. So keep that in mind. All right. I'm going to publish this. Are there any questions? Any questions? So